Welcome back to our channels. In today's video, we are diving into the world of Terraform modules. But if you are new to Terraform at all, it's okay, but still you can use this video and understand how Terraform works and how you can use your Terraform modules or already built-in Terraform modules to produce codes or infrastructure as a code environment on different cloud providers, or you can use also even on your local environment. So before we dive into Terraform modules, we have to know what is the infrastructure as a code. So infrastructure as a code is like managing your infrastructure with the codes. Like you have your code, same like for applications. That code will be also same like for infrastructures. Like you won't have, let's take it an example. In Microsoft Azure, you want to have a resource group. Inside that, you want to have two virtual networks and two subnets and etc. Something else that you want to deploy on your cloud environment. But you can also use these codes to deploy these infrastructures many times, and you can use it for any different names. You can use them, change the names of the infrastructure, and you can deploy it again, or you can manage it totally with your code. You don't have to go to your Azure portal and you have to click somewhere to change the settings, but you can use the codes and you can deploy that. So that makes life much easier if you have the code always, and anytime you deploy this code and you will get the same result. And it's like always that you have control over the infrastructure, even if somebody else coming and know the knowledge of the Terraform, so they can also start directly what's going on and what infrastructure will be deployed with this code. So in infrastructure as a code, we have two type of that we can use. One is like declarative and another is like imperative. In the declarative, we say like what we want, and but we don't say how, but we just want tell them that what we want at the end of the code, after the code is executed, so that end giveness, the end result, we are actually interested, but not how it's going through the codes that deploys. But in imperative, you have to tell the computer each steps, and you have to tell them what to do next until you get the last result. So this is the simple way if you want to explain like the key difference of the imperative code, imperative and declarative. So in imperative, let's say you want to have a burger, but then you have to say each steps to the man, or if you go to a restaurant, then you have to tell to the man what you want. Like you want a bread, put salad, put meat on top, and cheese, and something else what's coming on the sauce and stuff on top of the burger, and then your burger will be at the end ready. But if you want to use the idea of declarative, then you just tell to the restaurant you want a burger, but you don't say to the man or to the man who's making ready for you the stuffs how you're gonna make it. You just want the burger, so just you want to tell them bring me a burger or prepare me a burger, that's it. So that's also the idea of declarative. And in Terraform modules, we use like already built-in codes. Somebody already built it or rooted, and these are like the biggest ones are like providers. We have providers in Terraform, and these are like Kubernetes, AWS, Azure, and Google, and many more. But you can, so as you deploy your infrastructure, it depends where it is. So you can use that registry and use the provider from that registry and to use infrastructure as a code for your infrastructure. Each registry provides modules. They are built in through the provider, and you can use this modules, which is already like very simple modules that you can use and just put your input data to that, and they will provide your infrastructure. But you can use these infrastructures together and build a bigger one, so that can kind of deploy the whole infrastructure for you. Let's take you want a subscription in a kind of like AWS, and you want to have storage accounts, you want to have virtual networks, you want to have a virtual machines and a web server and everything you want. You just have to explain everything in the code, and that will be deployed for you. So that's about the theoretical part of this video, and now I'm going to show you as we went through the theory. So now I want to show you how you can do that in practical, that you can create your own modules and use even the modules that already built in through the providers. So in this example, we are going to use Microsoft Azure Terraform provider. So just to show you the examples on how you can do your own, I'm showing you the codes how it's created, and you can pause the video and you write your own codes. So to save the time, I just already created two simple modules, which is one is resource groups, and it's like same simple Terraform code, but it's a little bit different how you can use it. So it's normally, this is the resource that we create. We use this modules from Azure RM provider. So, and then we can just set a few variables for that. Then we can use these variables back to assign the values. You can even advance this simple resource, but as a simple test, we can use this module. So it's a module. We can use this as a module. We provide not directly the value to the resource, but we are setting a few variables. And the same, you can use the variables file to create our own variables, and then we can now output a few, like the resource group name, the ID, and the location of the resource group. So we can use these three outputs back again from modules, so we can use these outputs for other resources. And I'm going to show you how you can use these outputs. And then there's another simple module. We can use it like to create a simple virtual network. And also we here set the variables, but not directly the value to the variables. And we have also output, which will be the name of the virtual network. And we also have the variable files that we can use, create our variables that we can assign the value later on. So this will be our variables. You can create your own folders that you can manage your codes. So I prefer that you have only one folder that you can store all your modules inside that. Even you can create another folder, subfolders that like you can provide, like divide the providers. Like you can create one for here for Azure, and then you can create another here for AWS, and then you put each module inside that folder. So then you can separate a little bit your codes. If you get like your codes getting more and more, and you provide or deploy more infrastructures, so then you can separate your codes like that. So, and to deploy a simple module, so all we can use to create the resource using the modules, I create also a simple infrastructure. So like you can have also different kind of infrastructures folder, and beside you can create subfolders inside that. So then you can divide your infrastructures and manage it easily. As a test, I already create this one. Like we are going to create a resource group in our own infrastructure, and then we're going to create a virtual network inside that. So this is simple. So we create, this is the like how to see like the structure of module. Like this is the only three default stuff that you have to use. Like you create use the keyword module, and then you give a name. It could be anything. Like I just use the resource group, and then you have to tell the source. Where is the source of this module? And we are going here, pointing this back to this Azure resource group. We are going back like two folders backward, and then we are going back to the modules, and then to the resource group. So we are pointing back to this place. And then it shows also red if you install the Terraform extensions for your VS Code. Then you can also help you what is missing in this module. So here are other few variables that we have to set. These variables, like the name is the same like here. If you go to your just splitting the screen, if you see that back in your resource group variables, here you have three variables that we have to give the value for that. And again, if you go back to your infrastructure folder, and then I use the main, and back I'm sourcing back the module, and then I have to give these three variables the value. So what kind of the value should go there. And the same also goes for the virtual network. I use the same variables that I have here. So let me show you the variables. I have 5 variables that I have to set the value for these 5 variables here, and also I have to point where is the source of this module. Like that, you just these variables or these other codes that I have written here and outputs I don't have to give. This module will do all these tasks. So to see this how it works in real world, world, and then you have to create your if you can use like your account in Azure, you can also sign in with your account in the CLI and install also ACID from Azure. And then you can also log in directly from your terminal and you can connect to your Microsoft account, or you can go through this documentation, which is from registry.terraform.io providers HashiCorp, and then Azure and latest, and then docs. When you go there, and then here it shows you how you can connect authentication to the Azure, and you can use any of these methods to connect yourself to the Azure, and then use the Terraform. So I suggest you go once through these methods that you can use, and then come back and use the modules. So here we have the modules, and if we save the file and we go to our terminal, so I already created my manage identities for our accounts. Then we can just use Terraform init at the beginning. So you just have to use the first time you created a Terraform modules or Terraform course, and you have to use the Terraform init. So this will do and download all the Terraform modules that is necessary from the provider. And the providers, you have to create another file which is name is providers, and then as I said in this documentation from Terraform, sorry, you can use that, and then you're gonna show you how you can create this Terraform provider file, and simply just telling to Terraform to use these source, or they also like actually modules, but you can tell them that you have to use these providers so we can use our resources, and all the possibility codes that we can execute with Terraform will be also downloaded from this source. So this file you also need for your infrastructures, and then we're gonna go through this hit Terraform init, and it's gonna create. You can see that here is written initializing modules. So it's simply downloading the modules from the Terraform provider, and then we can just type Terraform plan to see how it will be our infrastructure after it's created. So it just tell you Terraform plan how it is gonna deploy this stuff for you, and you don't have to do something else, but it just show you how you can what is gonna create. Always with the plans greens will be like created, and if you have changes on you already deployed stuff but you wanna see what's the difference or changes, and then it will be like yellow, and if you want to delete something it will be like a minus red. So but we don't have the resource to delete, so we just want to deploy new, so therefore it just show you on the plus. It's gonna create for us a resource group for us and also a virtual network for us. We can also just go and type Terraform apply, which also the same do also Terraform apply do the same Terraform plan and also apply the resources, but you have to tell them yes at the end of the command. Here you can ask you for the actions. You just have to type yes. Only yes will be accepted to approve here. So it's gonna go and deploy for you a resource group in your provider that you already provided, and your subscription, everything. So and then also create a virtual network inside of that. So it was very fast and easy. So it's already created for us. We can go to our portal and we can check if there is already exists. So the name of the resource group is test1, and if we go to see our portal, and then we will see that there is a resource group T1. It's also there is a vnet inside that. So that was our created, so the resource. But what's the biggest useful part of this modules are like now you can easily create another network. Just copy that and put it and say we need 2, and we can just put another space for that and another name for that. So we're gonna give it vnet 2 also, and then we apply again. So now we can, if you want a new infrastructure or something we want, or we're gonna stick here. Let's check what is wrong. So and if you always create a new module, then you have to again we create a new module here, then you have to run Terraform init, so it can again download or create the modules that you need. But if you change something, it won't ask you for it. But if you create a new one, then it will ask you to run Terraform in it. So again, we Terraform apply. So it will create for us one more virtual network, one we have already. So it only applies the changes that is new, or changes that you did already in your code, but not what's already there in the infrastructure. So we have to say yes to that now. We just wait a few seconds. It will be deployed as a virtual network for us. So it's already done. We go to our portal and we do refresh. It must be there. Let me check again. So a second VNet is also created here with a new address space that we provided there. This is the address space that we gave there. So it's so simple to create a whole infrastructure. So you think about anything you need in your own infrastructure. So you can also use DevOps tools that you can also automate this process of creating the resources. So this is a simple way to create modules and use these modules back again and again. And you can just have to now try Terraform destroy to delete all the resources that we created. To have to be back a clean environment. And you can use also the same other more subfolders and create your own infrastructure. And you can use also just source these modules through your code, and they will be deployed again. You just type yes, and all our two virtual networks and the resource group will be destroyed or deleted from our infrastructure. So like that, you can use always your codes, and you can give even this code to somebody else. They can improve it, or they can improve it, and you can get it back. And you can use also GitHub for that, and you can also automate this through Azure DevOps, and you can also use GitHub Actions to deploy the resources using Terraform codes. So that was everything for today's. I hope you learned something new from this. Feel free to put your comments or something or feedback, and I will come back to you if there is any question. Thank you.